Hello and welcome back to the SWAN Pricing Show. My name is Filip Vucic. I'm a pricing mentor.
And I am Filip Zolota, business mentor.
We wanted to talk about, well, positioning primarily, and how it stops conversations that shouldn't be that shouldn't be happening in the first place. What I mean by that is sometimes you need to make people realize that they're not a good fit for you even before they talk to you, or immediately after they start talking to you, so not to waste their time and your time, right? Um, and if we, I mean, we're positioning even if we don't know that we're positioning. You're always playing the game, right? And this is what happens. This was one case that I wanted to bring in. This is what happens when you you leave that, what happens happens. However, see, I'm going to do my thing, and price my costs, and uh, uh, what happens happens. People will see me how they see me. So, a couple of weeks ago, a consultant sent me like a proposal to check on it. It was about 1,200 euros, and she has poured hours into that, right?
Mhm.
And at first the client got it, then ghosted, and then after a while said, well, we went with somebody cheaper. So far, so well, classic. But um, because Croatia is small enough, sometimes I found out who the client was, and um, what I get out was, a plot twist. She didn't lose to a competitor who, undercut the price by 10 to 30%. No. They bought a 54 euro book, which included a pre-recorded course. Well, that's not the same thing as somebody advising you at all. But to a client, well, it seemed kind of the same thing.
And small risk,
Maybe.
maybe.
I mean, if the knowledge is not important, fine. But this one was. It's just so I wouldn't say she lost to a competitor. So she said, maybe I should have gone with like 900 instead of 1,200.
Mm,
No, it would be absolutely the same.
yeah.
If you had went with 100, you would still be double the price of what they bought, which you would never do because why would you, right? So it was, I mean, classic. But people usually when they lose, they think they automatically lost to a competitor. She lost to noise. She lost to the client's inability to understand the difference between a book and a pre-recorded course and somebody holding your hand.
Yeah.
That's what she lost the client to, not competitors. Not really. Um, because especially this is tricky for us older generations. Now I have to say that. Damn it. Um, because we kind of grew up in the Yellow Pages era, where if you wanted to know who you're going to be compared to, you opened up, registry under people who do what they do, what you do, and you check them, and maybe you check their prices, um, and then you knew what the market will bear or whatever. It's not like that today. It's 2025. So people are
Mhm.
comparing you to anything and everything all of the time, as Bo Burnham says, right? They're drowning they're drowning in a swamp of free hacks,
Yeah.
easy to use spreadsheets that get you nowhere. That uncle who knows a guy, uh, that person who sent them an offer from 2020 and ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
And there's no way in which you can modify your price by 20% and get ahead. That's not a thing, right? And this is okay. So this is the swan duck difference. That's something that we usually get into. When it comes to commoditized things, it's much easier for them to recognize that a head of cabbage is not going to be, a substitute for cookies because there's no sugar in it. And here, I want to know about, I think this was negotiation. And this book is about negotiation. So it's basically the same thing. No, it's absolutely not. It's like trying to learn poker from a book. And it's just it's not gonna work. I mean, without playing, right? Without
Yeah.
it's perfectly worth $54. It's just not comparable to an actual solution to the problem. So I think when the clients are buying something simpler, something that they understand better or can at least check the ingredients of, then it's a different story. But here, well, you had a good example in the pre-show about this, about the cost of, positioning by not positioning.
Yeah, yeah. In the end, that is something what we often see in the expertise-based business. It was specifically in the Industry 4.0. One company bringing all of the noise of the world to social media, etc., etc. They're everywhere, and actually they were competing with other company who actually has the experience with specific manufacturing type of business, automation, etc., etc., etc. But point was, clients simply not understanding the true difference as essence and substance of entire story. They were engaging and choosing those who brought the noise, not
Yeah,
necessarily the competencies and true knowledge over specific manufacturing process, automation, and everything else. And also in parallel, accept them losing simply because of the noise happening overall, and the company which was definitely being publicly more visible in that terms. Second problem was that true experts in that respective realm, because there was definitely significant difference in skill set, experience, and expertise, they were even overcomplicating the initial conversation. The good approach to that would be in that respectable case to make it as a proper frame, framing the situation, the expectation, so you can adequately navigate the challenges, the conversation, putting some priorities into the list and similar. But they simply didn't do that, and they were just losing that potential big project and client at this time. At the time, luckily for them, the first company which was chosen to do the engagement and delivery, they weren't doing their job and project adequately. So in some moment, they were the second choice and they took over the project and job. But that was
too late.
luck. Why? Because there are not so many lookalike or type of the companies who are actually able to do something in that respective realm. And the second thing to it, the fact it was happening in small market of Croatia. So if you do the
That's a
same
big
thing
difference.
or
Yeah.
replicate that specific pattern situation on the broader, wider, stronger, bigger market, that is something that situation wouldn't be happening in that specific type and scenario. So initially they were unlucky. Afterwards they were lucky. Somewhere else, just that wouldn't happen. And yeah, that was definitely a big mistake. Not primarily from the perspective of positioning themselves through paid ads, social media, etc., but in the value conversation where they were actually able to be fully dominant in terms of experience, knowledge, and expertise, and they simply didn't chose that specific route, navigating in the right frame. That's it.
And it's always a massive consequence to
Yeah,
not doing strategy,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because then somebody else is driving and you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
reacting to the road. Right. So positioning simply isn't just about standing out, right? It's about not being compared to irrelevant options in the first place. It's a very important point. So it's not a question of shouting.
Yeah.
Um, it's standing out not simply because you have a red cap, but because there's something important that people see. Oh yeah, so this is a entirely a different thing entirely, right? Like a book from from an actual book. So there's a couple of things that people can do um, to make their positioning better. One is to stop rehearsing the answer to the question, why me? And I would refine this question
Mm-hmm.
as what conditions must exist for me to be the obvious choice?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So in my client's case here, people who don't need negotiation advice immediately for an upcoming or ongoing negotiation are probably not going to be good clients for her because they don't see the urgency and maybe I'll read this while I'm walking the dog, something
Mm-hmm.
um on a lazy Sunday. That's not somebody willing to pay because they
Yeah.
don't have the pain, and that's fine,
Yeah.
right? We don't get mad for somebody not buying a medicine that they don't have the illness, the matching illness for. So that's one. The other is to deliberately disqualify themselves from situations where they simply can't win. And one of these ways is to have your costs high enough. So if somebody is looking for a, you know, cheap way to learn something, then they should steer clear of you because that's going to be a waste of their time and yours.
Yeah.
So if this client from our example was always going to go for a $55 solution, then a better outcome for my client, the consultant, would be that she never spent the hours crafting a big proposals only
Yeah.
for this to go nowhere. If the client outed themselves on intending to spend that much, she wouldn't bother. And that would be a better solution than this one. There's no world in which somebody ends up buying this and also could have, it's like somebody buying a used Kia and Mercedes saying, damn it, we could have had that one. No, no, you couldn't. That's not a loss, right? Um, and finally, and I think you'll like this one. Maybe you have an
Mm-hmm.
example of this. Um, a good idea is to compare yourself when you're talking to the client to the cost of inaction, not to others on the market, because that can underline the severity of the problem, which will then make it kind of silly for them to reach for a $50 solution to a $20,000 problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
in what world do you expect that this that this is going to work, right? Uh,
Uh, I
if a
have.
friend, I'm sorry, I'm going to let you finish.
Sure.
If a friend of yours said, "Give me $50 dollars, I'm going to give you 20,000 back," you would say no. You're nuts. Sorry, you wanted to say something.
Yeah. You helped me remind specific case and one very recent one. It is practically a cost of inaction or even a cost of wrong choices in the end.
Hmm.
One company, they're struggling for the past year and a half, maybe even more, with their business development team. And they were trying everything. They were engaging with commission-only sales, etc., etc. So they were constantly in the onboarding process in the phase without having clear picture and painting the clear picture for themselves as the company. So we're constantly onboarding people, which costs money by default. Our time is being spent on onboarding new sales team developers who were trying to do something. Their service is complex enough, so you have a longer decision making process. So what was happening? Sales were jumping into the scenario. They were starting doing stuff, doing their and delivering service tops a quarter. Then they left the company, and they were constantly year and a half in that the same machine and paradigm, and they
Grind. Yeah.
lost a crazy amount of money because they simply decided not to go down the route of engaging with professional company which can actually help them set up in-house or external paid professionals who can actually deliver the service because it was easier. It didn't cost a dime wrong on all the possible levels. They've spent 1.5 years doing nothing, and that is, we can say, the cost of inaction because their competition, they were actually doing something.
Yes.
If you are not doing anything, not moving forward, you're stagnating by default. And yeah, it's a problem. And the final decision on that specific of that specific company was still after everything. Yeah, we won't be proceeding or going further with paradigm shift. Fine. And it was our specific case and potential collaboration and discussion about it. But if you have a clear frame with adequate paywalls and everything else, you're not losing time on potential opportunities which actually don't have a true potential. They are just noise.
Yeah.
And that's it. And as you said, in the same parallel with your example for your client and consultant. Yeah, it's you need to choose in the end the right battles which are
Yeah.
actually worth it overall. Yeah.
I think I prefer calling it a frame, right?
Yeah.
The picture is big and nobody can see all of it. So
Yeah.
the client counts on you to provide a frame in which it makes sense to choose you.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a part of your job.
Yeah.
Knowing your craft very, very well, but not understanding this is is not all of your job. You need to understand the
Hmm.
market as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so pricing is prevention first and polish second. It's yeah. In a sense, I mixed up the words, but I meant to send positioning. But pricing helps you position, so I wasn't completely off. Um, so positioning in the correct way, pricing included, um, stops the wrong conversations before they start. That's the whole idea, right? Um, so it's not that you don't want to, have conversations with clients. You don't want to have conversations which will lead nowhere, which will just end up in. Not everybody needs your 100% best thing. We talked about this. Some people don't need you at all. And that's legitimate. But you need to show them signs that they're in the wrong place so they go away and buy the book and try with the book. And if that's good enough for them, that's awesome. If it's not, also okay,
Yeah.
right? Um, did you want to say anything else?
Hmm.
Okay.
No, no, at this point, I think we've covered pretty much the
In
right way.
that case, where can people find you, man?
People can find me on LinkedIn and also my mentorship page, philipzalata.com.
And I'm on LinkedIn as well as fearless-pricing.com. Um, I think we're going to continue this positioning thing in some other episode because there's so many things one can say about it. But I think we kept it, you know, here's a problem, do this, do this, do this. So flip the script, disqualify yourself where needed, and compare yourself to cost of inaction. People, happy to have you here. See you next time.
See ya.